Long has man wondered, which platform is the most intelligent? Who truly has the biggest IQ? Well, today, we shall take your exotic ideas from Twitter, YouTube comments, Patreon, as well as my own Discord to see truly who is the most creative exotic idea platform. Let's begin. If you're new to the series, what we do is we take exotic ideas and we try to make them into reality. We've done a whole bunch of episodes. I was looking at my files. We've done like 20 something episodes on this. That is crazy. Thank you so much for the continued support on that. But what we're going to do today is we're going to have a little bit of a competition. Like I mentioned, we're going to put Twitter, YouTube comment section, Patreon, as well as Discord all head to head. And we're going to see who has the best idea. I will be featuring 2 ideas from Patreon because they love me. I want to show them a little bit of love back. If you have an exotic idea of your own, and don't lie to me, I know you do. Don't pretend like you haven't thought to yourself you want to fire a disco ball that shoots bullets. I know you've thought of it. I've thought of it. Everyone's thought of it. You're not special. Leave it in the comment section down below. And if you like this series, if you want to catch more of the stuff that we do, subscribe. It helps you out. Not only that, but it gives you a 69% increase in your kill death ratio. That's nice. All right, let's go ahead and jump straight into it here. I'm going to start off with Discord. It's not something we've done in a while, so I figured I should just lead off with this one here. The quickest way to a man's heart is by wall running. Everybody knows that. I'm pretty sure Sun Tzu was the one who said that. So when Ember approached me with the idea of the double take, which they've referred to this as the double trouble from Titanfall 2, I knew I had to feature the idea. Not only did they fit Titanfall into this, but they also fit a freaking Pokemon reference into this, which is why you're hearing the Pokemon music in the background, because the exotic perk is called Prepare for Trouble. This fires 2 shots at horizontal bolts, and it dramatically has increased ready and ADS speed. So this is your traditional cracked out of your mind sniper player that you see, the perks that you see with Quick Draw Snapshot, all built into an exotic. Bungie, why don't we have an exotic that has the, I'm getting off subject. The intrinsic to this is interesting, as this effectively means that the damage will be both more and less consistent, if that makes sense. Basically, when you're firing at a target that's moving, it'll be a little bit easier to hit them, because horizontally, it's easier to hit a moving target with something that's flat and horizontal like that, right? However, being able to consistently get both of those bolts to hit a target are a little bit more tricky, because you have to be a lot more on that target specifically for that to happen. And it also makes it slightly better for like shotgun sniping things, right? But this all ties beautifully into the exotic perk, which is Make It Double. Landing both shots slows enemy movements and stuns overload champions. So if you're able to land both of those bolts on that target, it'll essentially give them, let's just say 15 slow for 2 seconds. Something that can just hold them in place for just a little bit, allowing you to get a better follow-up shot. One thing that is not mentioned here is that this is meant to be a 140 arc sniper, which already is a problem. We have to make sure that this is something that's not competing directly with the Cloud Strike. So let's just make the stasis. This does tie beautifully in with that perk that slows things down as well. And another thing, I'm going crazy with this, I know. You can also make each of these individual bolts deal 50 each, which means that if you're able to double shot a Guardian in PvP, this will kill them. This makes this have a unique carved out spot for itself within the meta within PvP, even ignoring the rest of the exotic perks that you've got already on it. I love this idea. This was great. It's got some stiff competition though. Let's roll into Twitter. Now, Twitter is a special place for me, as every time I go there, my blood pressure goes up. I swear, there's something about the energy in Twitter that is just, there's something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who get it, you get it, right? So when I'm trying to branch out into more platforms to try to expand my influence, and I'm trying to get better at Twitter. So when I reached out, I was cautious. But this really surprised me. I've seen like 3 people now suggest the 1812 Overture. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of meme I'm missing or something, but this is what we got. The exotic intrinsic perk is called Overture. Other rockets fired at the same time as this weapon gain a bonus to damage. Now, what you're looking at this thing is a literal cannon. This thing will fire a cannon ball. Now, the poster themselves didn't actually suggest that this is an actual cannonball, that this is just, you know, a normal rocket launcher with this perk, which I was super interested in this perk because we don't have anything like this. This is similar to Firing Line, but, you know, Firing Line doesn't have as much flavor, right? So this was cool. So being that there's kind of a lack of a follow-up perk to this, what if this actually fired a literal cannonball? Like, it didn't actually explode. When it hit a target, it just did a shite ton of overall damage. I think that'd be pretty cool. Now, I do have to obviously, you guys at home who are judging these, of course, for, which is the best, do have to obviously take back some of the points, because this second part of the idea was, my idea added into this, but the flavor was clearly there. I want to fire a cannon at an ogre's eyeball. That's all I'm saying, Bungie. Make this happen, please. This would be a lot of fun. And I wish I could play the music that this actually goes with, the 1812 Overture. You're just gonna have to look it up yourself, because it is hella copyrighted. If you even just suggest it, you're probably gonna get copyright struck. So let's just move on to the next exotic, huh? And now we roll into Patreon. If you want to help support this channel tremendously, outside of course, just keeping your eyeballs on screen, it really does help. You can also support us on Patreon. It helps level out the scariness that YouTube can have sometimes, because videos will go up and down, but Patreon is forever. Check the link in the description. All of these platforms, by the way, will be a link in the description. So if you want to check us out on Twitter, on our Discord, whatever, they'll all be there. Starting off, we have the Worm's Hunger from Patreon. This exotic idea is an idea that plays into something that we've seen previously, which is the Breakneck. If you guys remember the Breakneck back from hundreds of seasons ago, it feels like, it has this perk which is called Onslaught, which as you get kills, it increases the rate of fire as the damage also increases. The poster themselves has this as a auto rifle, which I think is a bit of an oversight, because we know that some kind of weird exotic hive SMG is coming with the Witch Queen. So if we read forward just a little bit, maybe something like this might be Necrochasm. So let's just say that this is maybe Necrochasm's younger brother for now. And its exotic perk is called Unceasing Feast, which is just basically Onslaught. Kills increases weapons rate of fire, and can it stack up to 4 times. The poster themselves suggest that it goes from 360 all the way up to 1,000 with maximum at 4 stacks. So that is a huge increase in its overall rate of fire. Don't know if Bungie will ever be crazy enough to do that. And its exotic perk is called Never Enough. Kills while Unceasing Feast is active cause explosions, Necrochasm, I'm just saying, Necrochasm, and final blows will partially reload the magazine. So it's got a bit of subsistence built into it as well, allowing this already chaotic SMG to be even more chaotic. And that's what I want to see. I want to see stupid taken to new levels, and this does it. Beautiful. Let's roll on to the next ones, because Patreon's not going to be outdone just with one. No, it's got to hit for 2. The Phoenix Shield. This is what it has here, a 700 RPM solar auto rifle. Its exotic perk is called Flaming Wings. Aiming down sights after a brief period of time grants a front-facing shield. I've tweaked that a little bit, because this is a very dangerous but very cool idea. It is always such a hard spot for me when I see an idea that is so unique and so special, but oh so dangerous, because if this got out of hand in PvP, hot damn. Any D1 players remember Juggernaut? Yeah, just picture kind of Juggernaut just built into a weapon here. Imagine a hunter with Juggernaut. That would be terrifying. But maybe if it was an overshield, it would be a little bit too boring, perhaps? So it's hard to say. I think a good direction to take, just even the starting perk, would to make, first of all, don't make this a 700 in solar, or one but not both. Because if it does that, then it's competing with the Tommy's Matchbook. We've seen that already with the Double Trouble from the previous suggestion and the Cloud Strike, so they gotta eliminate it a little bit better, so it's a little bit more split up. Maybe if this was a 450 auto, of which we don't have, that would be pretty cool. And if you had to stay stationary, maybe if you had to be stationary and crouched, that could work as having its own overshield health kind of thing, right? Like a barricade, right? But I'm getting way off into the weeds. The exotic perk is called Martyr. Grants bonus movement speed if your flaming wings are broken. Allies also gain a burst of healing. This allows you to stay entrenched for as long as is necessary, and then as soon as the go button is hit, you can roll with this thing. Great idea. Loved everything we've seen so far, but can YouTube comments beat this out? Well, maybe. The featured exotic for this week from the YouTube comments is the Afterburner. Now, I had to do a little bit of finagling with this one in order to get this to work, but I think the core idea is still there. The exotic intrinsic perk is called Focused Convergence. Fires a focused beam that deals more damage the closer you are to your target. So this is a very heavily limited range trace rifle. Now, that already sounds interesting because trace rifles are obviously meant to be kind of like a mid-range or utility-based tool, so having something that's explicitly designed to deal just raw DPS in closer spaces is very, very cool. The poster themselves even said that at much further ranges, it would be harder and harder and less damage to hit targets, so kind of interesting there. You've got this whole jet engine feel, which I ripped straight out of Call of Duty, and the exotic perk is called Superheated Core. Weapon reloads slowly over time, kills increased range and damage of the beam. So the idea I have here is that maybe, instead of this being a special weapon, like maybe the poster was suggesting here, what if this was a primary trace rifle that had a cooldown feature? So it could never be reloaded, but it would slowly gain its ammo back. Even while you're firing it, it would slowly get a little bit of its ammo back. So you'd have to kind of wait for it to cool down, as it were, before you could use this thing again. This would really carve out a very special and unique spot for this to have a very cool playstyle, as having a nice burst damage option at close, but is really bad at further ranges and isn't instant. So it's not going to like just outright beat something like a fusion rifle or a shotgun, as those will be able to just instantly shut something down with good spacing. Loved all of these here. Honestly, like all of these ideas in my mind are basically equal, which is why I am delegating the responsibility of who you think the best exotic idea was. Let me know in the comment section down below. Like I mentioned, if you are new, please subscribe. The numbers going up makes the dopamine in my brain very happy. I hope you guys enjoyed this stuff. Check out the rest of the channel if you like this. There's a whole playlist of them. Bless your faces and deuces.